Research in the field of individual psychology has led to theories about what makes people behave the way they do. That is, what makes people choose healthy or unhealthy courses of action. Theory is particularly useful when it becomes applied research. In fact, behavioral theories have been applied to guide people toward healthier life choices. Let's see how one classic behavioral theory is applied in practice. The health belief model. HBM is based on the premise that a person will act rationally when he's faced with a health threat. Let's say our rational person is a summer lifeguard at an outdoor pool. And let's say that the specific health threat is ultraviolet rays from the sun, which have been scientifically linked to skin cancer. Although our lifeguard has known from childhood about the dangers of UV radiation, additional research and new warnings on radio and TV have brought the issue to his reawakened consciousness. According to the HBM, there are 4 factors that could change his devil-may-care attitude about using sunscreen as protection. Let's examine these 4 factors and consider whether the lifeguard is likely to be swayed by advice from the medical profession and American Cancer Society to apply sunscreen when outdoors, at all times, even on cloudy days. How vulnerable to the threat does he feel? Does he pooh-pooh the scientific evidence and the UV threat, claiming these are only generalized statistics? Does he feel young and healthy, unlikely to get skin cancer, convinced that it'll happen only to an older person? Or alternately, does he see a young neighbor who was unprotected and overexposed to the sun suffer from skin cancer and die prematurely from the disease? Is he therefore feeling vulnerable and concerned for himself? What is the perceived severity of the threat? Does he feel that if he gets cancerous lesions, he can just have them removed at the dermatologist's office without any other consequences? Or is he worried that malignant moles and melanoma might be in his future, since melanoma is part of his family history? What are the perceived barriers to taking action that will reduce the threat? Does he feel he gets a deeper tan without sunscreen, and a deep tan makes him more attractive? Are all his buddies just not bothering with it? Does he consider sunscreen an unneeded expense? Will he just forget to apply it because he has more important things on his mind? Or alternately, is it a no-brainer? After all, it's easy and cheap enough to apply sunscreen, and therefore does he feel there's no barrier, no downside to it? What are the perceived benefits of taking action to minimize the threat? Does he feel that since sunscreen is not the perfect antidote to skin cancer from the sun's radiation, he's not going to bother? Or does he feel there's benefit from choosing a highly rated brand, an SPF of 30 or higher, and applying the product every 2 hours for the best protection? Now let's shift our attention. The individual is a young executive, and the health threat is overweight and obesity. The required behavior change is a healthier diet and increased exercise. To understand behavior change in this case, it helps to add one more behavioral factor to the HBM. It's called self-efficacy, confidence in one's own abilities to complete a task. Here's why it needs to be added. Self-efficacy is often added as the 5th factor in the HBM because when a person feels that he has the skills and ability to make needed changes, he's more likely to make healthy changes. His self-efficacy comes from repeated successful performances of a goal-setting task, the "I can do this" effect. For example, our goal setter may have quit smoking or cut down on working late hours and weekends, giving him confidence that he can accomplish the difficult task of weight loss too. Observing others around him who have successfully and continuously performed difficult goal-setting tasks only adds to his own self-efficacy. A person with high self-efficacy is likely to feel that he has the orientation, self-discipline, and persistence to set and stick to diet and exercise goals or any other task he sets his mind to. In contrast, people who have repeatedly tried and failed in their goal setting have low self-efficacy. Their many defeats have made them feel helpless, the "I'm a failure" effect, "I can't get healthy." Psychological research has focused on how to increase people's self-efficacy, which should motivate them to adopt healthier behaviors. The trans-theoretical model, also known as the stages of change, is an alternative to the HBM in examining individual behavior change. The TM focuses on a person's progress through a series of 5 stages of decision-making. Let's see how this theory is applied. Pre-contemplation. In this stage, the person has no intention of changing his behavior because he doesn't even realize he has a problem. The first step in getting him to change is consciousness raising, making him aware that his behavior is unhealthy and needs to change. He's overweight, on the verge of obese, but he doesn't acknowledge a problem. After all, no physician or family member has warned him about health consequences of overweight and obesity. All his buddies look like him, his girlfriend likes him the way he is, and weight gain is something he anticipated as he matured from adolescent to young man. Contemplation. At this stage, the person has learned about his diagnosis of borderline obesity, and he's learned that obesity causes or is linked to a number of health conditions: heart disease, stroke, diabetes, asthma, 11 types of cancer, and depression, among others. He's weighing the benefits of changing his behavior with the difficulty of making the change. He's afraid of becoming a walking time bomb. He wants to have a family. He wants to live to see his children grow up. He knows that it won't be easy to change his diet and fit regular exercise into his daily routine. New activities and interests may cause old friendships to fade, but new friendships will likely take their place. Much of the HBM model is embedded in this TM contemplation stage. Preparation. At this stage, the person has decided to make the change and has planned the actions he must take to carry through his decision. This might involve buying a gym membership, hiring a personal trainer, scheduling a workout before or after work, seeing a nutritionist, or signing up for Weight Watchers. Action. At this stage, he will actually have to modify his behavior, set the alarm clock for 5 a.m. and make time before dinner, pay monthly bills for gym memberships, personal trainer, nutritionist, and Weight Watchers, feel the pain, sweat, and discomfort involved in elevating his fitness level. Maintenance or relapse. At this stage, the healthy behavior has been achieved, but the real test is whether he can keep it up over time and resist urges to relapse and resume old, unhealthy, but easy habits.